host of today's CCAC conference matchup between the visiting Holy Cross Saints and your University of St. Francis Fighting Saints. Before we introduce tonight's starting lineups, we ask that you please rise, kindly remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Good afternoon from the Sullivan Center on the campus of the University of St. Francis in Joliet, Illinois. It's CCAC basketball season. We get the new year started for the Fighting Saints against the Holy Cross Saints coming in from Northwest Indiana. Terry Bonadonna with you on the call for today's matchup as St. Francis tries to improve to 12-2 on the season. They currently sit at 4-1 in conference play. They just finished up non-conference season just before the holidays, and now they'll be playing CCAC opponents the rest of the way. Holy Cross comes in 8-5 overall, but just 2-3 in the CCAC. So they're trying to pick up their third win and move back to the 500 mark today as the two teams meet at midcourt. The opening tip is won by Holy Cross, and we are underway. The Saints of Holy Cross wear black and go from left to right for the first half today. The Saints of St. Francis wear whites. They go from right to left to get us started. We'll go through the starting lineups in just a moment as the ball is lost out of bounds and turned over by Holy Cross. Jordan Smith, Ellie Caldwell, Brooke Lindesmith, Kaylana Hamill, and Grace Adams make up the starting five for Tom Robbins' Holy Cross team. St. Francis counters with Takara Harrison, Lorelei Thormeyer, Simone Harrell, Bailey Johnson, and for the first time this year, Leilani Harris starts the game on the bench with Corinne Fromm, the freshman among the starting five. Harrison drives, fires it down low for Bailey Johnson, deflected out of bounds by Jordan Smith. It'll stay with the Fighting Saints. St. Francis is scoring 81 points per game, which is the second best number in the conference this year. Corinne Fromm in the post, kicks it out to Johnson, 5 on the shot clock. Johnson drives on Grace Adams, goes up over her and scores off the glass. Nice work down low by Bailey Johnson. The sophomore averaging 7.5 points, 6 rebounds a game this year. Allie Caldwell in the corner, gives it up to Grace Adams. Adams gets it back outside. High pressure defense from the Fighting Saints. Holy Cross is able to move it around, down to the corner. It's Brooke Lindesmith. Out to Hamill, nearly taken away. 6 on the shot clock. Hamill keeps the dribble alive. Inside, this is Adams with the layup, and she gets it. A frenetic possession, but it ends the way so many Holy Cross possessions do. A layup for Grace Adams, and now a quick whistle. Like some talking from Tom Robbins on the Holy Cross sideline, and the official blew the play dead to indicate he didn't want any more of that guff. So a quick stoppage for the warning, and now we continue with St. Francis in possession. I think there were some complaints about some non-foul calls on that last possession. But it did end up with 2 points for Holy Cross. Now they get a steal as Jordan Smith comes up with the strip. Here comes Allie Caldwell. Caldwell gives it to Kaylana Hamill, step back 3. Holy Cross cannot take their first lead of the game. Simone Harrell grabs the rebound for the Fighting Saints. Lobbed ahead to Cara Harrison. Out to Fromm. Fromm bounces inside looking for Bailey Johnson, missed her, but Harrell grabs it on the back end and throws it out of bounds. So the Saints nearly turned it over, and then they did turn it over. 2-2 our score. 2:05 into the game as Labria Austin checks in for Kaylana Hamill for Holy Cross. Jordan Smith walks it across half court, has the ball poked away by Takara Harrison. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Holy Cross. Just 7 seconds off the shot clock so far. In the corner, it's Austin, and Labria Austin is fouled. First foul called today. There's been a lot of contact on both sides of the floor. So a little bit surprising that that's the first time we've actually seen a foul called. It goes against Takara Harrison. Inbounds pass is knocked out of bounds by Bailey Johnson. They were looking for Grace Adams, leading scorer, averaging better than 19 points per game this year. Into Austin. Austin up over Harrison and in. And Holy Cross captures the lead for the first time today. It's 4-2. And the Saints turn it over. Takara Harrison couldn't keep it in bounds along the baseline. St. Francis having trouble holding on to the ball early on in this game. Couple of turnovers. Holy Cross looks to extend their lead. It's actually 3 turnovers now committed by St. Francis as Labria Austin misses the runner. The rebound is deflected over to Lorelei Thormeyer. The junior point guard traverses up the floor towards the corner, and Simone Harrell, the pass is deflected out of bounds. 19 to shoot for the Fighting Saints, who make their first substitution of the game. Leilani Harris checks in for Corinne Fromm. Harris had started the first 13 games of the year, averaging better than 14 points per game today. She is the first player off the bench. Harrison tried to get it into Harris, but the pass was stolen. Here comes Grace Adams. Adams gets it down to the freshman Allie Caldwell, whose three-pointer is good. It's an awfully impressive combination. That was a 2, by the way. Her foot was on the line, so it's 6-2 Holy Cross. Caldwell and Adams among the best 1-2 punches in the conference. Adams, the senior forward, and Caldwell, the freshman guard, combined to average 36 points per game. Leilani Harris picks up her dribble, gives it to Simone Harrell. Harrell into the paint, nice little fake. Now she takes the jumper and misses off the backboard. Here comes Holy Cross. Lily Toppin fires the 3, no good. Fight for the rebound, and we got a loose ball tie-up. Possession arrow favors St. Francis. Abby Shepard checks in for Takara Harrison for the Fighting Saints. Shepard is the top 3-point shooter, one of the top 3-point shooters this year for the Fighting Saints. Corinne Fromm is also back on the floor. Fromm handles the ball right now. Here's Lorelei Thormeyer. Thormeyer spins into the paint, up with the right hand and in. Nice little move by Thormeyer. The Saints are back within 2. Lobbed inside. Caldwell gives it up to Adams, and Adams scores from 13 feet out. Grace Adams has half of Holy Cross's 8. Corinne Fromm picked up by Allie Caldwell, bounces it over to Bailey Johnson. Johnson drives, loses it, out of bounds. It'll stay with St. Francis. Takara Harrison is back in. Mo Ring on for the first time for the Fighting Saints. Kaylana Hamill returns to the floor for the Holy Cross Saints. Harris in the post, turn around, got it, and a foul. Leilani Harris headed to the free throw line after she scores her first points today. Foul on Lily Toppin. Number 1 on Holy Cross today. 3-point play, and it's a 1-point game. Adams lobs it down low to Labria Austin. Pushed back outside, Hamill. Over to Audrey Talent. Talent lobs it into the post for Adams. Immediately double teamed. Adams draws the foul. Good post moves from Grace Adams, who entered play today in the top 3 in the conference in both points and rebounds. Pretty good free throw shooter as well at 78%. She makes it a 2-point lead. She'll get one more shot to make it 3. 5 points for Adams. There's number 6. 10-7 Holy Cross. Just over 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Just underway in this game, but doesn't really feel that way. It has been so high energy early on. Both sides playing pressure-filled defense. Harrison crosses over on Hamill. Hasn't given the ball up yet on the possession. Now finally finds Fromm. Fromm has an opening. She kicks it into the corner. Leilani Harris for 3, and we're tied. Little over pursuit on the previous pass. Freed that shot up. Holy Cross had to over-rotate in order to make up for it. Now it's 10-10 on the first 3-pointer of the game. Austin looking to answer on the other end, and she does. Labria Austin for 3 points. Five points for her. And a foul call on Kaylana Hamill. A reach in the backcourt is the second foul on Holy Cross. Both teams are using their benches liberally. Like I said, it's been a fast tempo game. And it's been a very physical game. So coaches are keeping everybody fresh. Harris spins inside and banks it home. Good start for Leilani Harris. She's got 8 points in just about 3.5 minutes on the floor. Caldwell for 3, nope. Rebound goes to Takara Harrison. Harrison off to the left to drive from Simone Harrell. Harrell misses. Ring is there for the offensive rebound. Second chance for the Saints. It's Thormeyer missing the 3. And the long rebound bounces to Kaylana Hamill. Hamill, crossover, drive to the left. Bounced into the corner, Allie Caldwell. Kicked outside, it's Caldwell again on the wing, 8 to shoot. And 3-second violation is called. I believe that was Brooke Lindesmith who didn't get out of there. It's a turnover committed by Holy Cross. That's their second turnover of the half. St. Francis has committed 4. Thormeyer across half court. Guarded tightly the whole way by Kaylana Hamill. Thormeyer gets the screen, kicks it off to Harris. Leilani Harris at the free throw line, backing in, nearly lost the ball. Looking for help, finds Thormeyer, 10 to shoot, Amo Ring. Back to Thormeyer, looking to set the screen. Thormeyer drives to the left. Harris for 3, short. Rebound deflected around and Ring pulls it in. Amo Ring back up with it and in, and St. Francis has the lead for the first time since it was 2-0. Good defense from Holy Cross for 30 seconds. St. Francis just could not get a good shot off. A quick answer on the other end. Hamill for 3. It was the offensive rebound on the previous end, though, for St. Francis after a desperation shot with the clock running out. Ring was able to score on the second effort. 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. 2-point lead, Holy Cross. Leilani Harris over Lindesmith, and a foul is called. First foul on the sophomore Brooke Lindesmith. Third on Holy Cross, 1:54 to play in the first quarter. Leilani Harris looks to get into double figures. That's her 9th point of the game. We are tied at 16. Harris now has 10 points as she checks out for the moment. Harrison, Harrell, Shepard, Thormeyer, and Johnson on the floor right now for St. Francis. Here's Grace Adams for Holy Cross. Trapped, gets it away to Jordan Smith. Smith splits 2 defenders, kicks it into the corner. Austin, nobody picks her up, and Austin's got an easy jumper for 2. She stood there for about 3 seconds waiting for somebody to defend her, and nobody did. So she took the shot. Harrison fights her way across half court. 2-point lead for Holy Cross, a hard-fought first quarter. Very tight game so far. Harrison blocked by Adams. Jordan Smith takes it the other way, lobbed ahead for Labria Austin. Austin is fouled. It's been a good first quarter for Labria Austin. Freshman from Buchanan, Michigan, came off the bench and leads the team with 7 points. She averages 8 per game. So she's already hit her season average now scoring. Just 9 minutes into the game. And she gets one more free throw to make it a 4-point lead. Both teams are hitting their free throws here in the first quarter. Holy Cross is on top by 4. Lorelei Thormeyer gets it across half court. Hamill stays in front of her. Johnson turns to face the basket, guarded by Adams, out to Abby Shepard. Shepard dribbles it inside the arc, back out with under 10 to shoot. Simone Harrell gives it to the top of the key. Shepard knocks down the 3. First points for Abby Shepard, 1-point game, final minute of the first quarter. Austin flings it out to Jordan Smith. Down to the corner, Allie Caldwell. Caldwell bounces down low to Grace Adams. Adams flips it up, no good. Gets her own rebound. Second chance, Adams, no good again. Good defense from Bailey Johnson. St. Francis gets the rebound with the shot clock off. Lorelei Thormeyer slows it down. 13 seconds to play, first quarter. Saints trying to recapture the lead. They've only had it briefly here in the first quarter. Harrison around a screen, looking for help, finds Simone Harrell. Harrell's got to put the shot up, and she can't connect as we come to the end of the first quarter. 3 ties, 3 lead changes in that first quarter, and just a 1-point game after 10 minutes of play. Good basketball action early on between St. Francis and Holy Cross. I'll step aside for a moment. Right back with the second quarter. One-point game at the end of one quarter. Similar stats through one. Both teams are shooting well, 7 of 13 from the field for both sides. Each team has made 2 3-pointers. Big difference so far. Well, I shouldn't say the big difference. There's no big difference. It's a one-point game. Mentioned a moment ago, everybody's been making their free throws today. That has been absolutely correct. We have not missed a single free throw in this game, but Holy Cross is 4 for 4 from the line. St. Francis is 3 for 3. So there's your 1-point difference. One free throw. Fighting Saints have turned it over 4 times. Holy Cross twice. Leilani Harris came off the bench, scored 10 points in 5 minutes for St. Francis. Labria Austin came off the bench with 9 points in 6 minutes in that first quarter for Holy Cross. So players step it up in reserve on both teams, although with Leilani Harris, it's a little misleading. Yeah, she's playing in reserve today, but she has started every game this year prior to today. Holy Cross comes out to start the second quarter with Austin out there. Linda Smith, Hamill, Caldwell, and Talent are also on the floor for St. Francis. It's Johnson, Harrell, Thormeyer, Harris, and Harrison. 1-point lead for Holy Cross. They've got the ball to start the second period. Labria Austin holds. Starts to make her move on Leilani Harris. Floater in the lane, way off. Rebound goes to Simone Harrell. Here's Lorelei Thormeyer coming down the floor for St. Francis. Out to Takara Harrison. Harrison, pull-up jumper misses. Rough start today for Harrison. She is scoreless with 3 turnovers. Allie Caldwell spins around Thormeyer and draws the foul. Good move by Allie Caldwell. Looked like she had an easy 2. The only way Thormeyer could stop her was by committing the foul. So Allie Caldwell is at the line. Caldwell averaging 16 points per game this year. Has 2 so far today. This is her first trip to the line where she's an 80% shooter. And she makes the first. And the second. 22-19 Holy Cross. They've led by as many as 4. It's been a 1-possession game in either direction pretty much the whole way. Couple of 4-point leads for Holy Cross. As big an advantage as anybody's had. Bailey Johnson backs in, double team, gets around the double team and lays it in. 4 points for Johnson. Again, it's a 1-point game. Here's Linda Smith for 3. Perfect. Brooke Linda Smith knocks down the triple. Good look for her. She's not a great 3-point shooter. That's her 6th made this season. Hard to pass up that opportunity, though. Bailey Johnson gives it to Corinne Fromm. Leilani Harris for 3. Can't respond to the 3 on the other end. The lead remains 4 for Holy Cross. They've got the ball. Audrey Talent passes to the left. Caldwell for 3. That's 2 in a row for Holy Cross. They've got their biggest lead of the game at 28-21, and a timeout is called by John McGinty, 4th-year head coach of the Fighting Saints. As he tries to get a grip on things. Holy Cross shooting the ball really well so far today. 4 of 7 from 3-point range. They're 56% overall, and they have not missed from the free throw line. 6 for 6 from right there. They're not a great 3-point shooting team in general, just 30%. That is one of the byproducts of this high-pressure trap defense that St. Francis plays, though. It does leave open shooters from time to time. Typically, shots have not fallen against them this year. Saints have only allowed opponents to shoot 20% from beyond the three-point arc this season, but Holy Cross today has taken advantage of some good looks. We'll see how long it continues. Second quarter, 8 minutes, 11 seconds to play. St. Francis has the ball coming out of the timeout. Lorelei Thormeyer passes to Takara Harrison on the three-point line. Lob down low. Bailey Johnson working against Grace Adams. Blocked from behind by Caldwell, out of bounds. Nice help defense from Caldwell. 14 on the shot clock. It stays with the Fighting Saints. Takara Harrison fakes the handoff to Fromm, takes it in herself instead, and has a wide open layup as Lily Toppin falls down. Toppin maybe was trying to draw the foul there. Did not work out for her. Takara Harrison has her first 2 points of the game. A missed jumper on the other end of the floor from Audrey Talent means it's Fighting Saints basketball. Here's Corinne Fromm for three. Rims out, tipped around. Abby Shepard back out to Fromm. Fromm drives this time. Left-handed layup is good. 4 in a row for the Saints in the paint. They are back to within 3 after Holy Cross had taken their biggest lead of the game. Here's Brooke Lindesmith, then a foul called on Takara Harrison, playing a little bit too tight on defense. Second foul of the quarter on St. Francis. Oh, excuse me, it's on Holy Cross. Little push off from Lindesmith, her second foul, first of the quarter on Holy Cross. The defense was just tight enough. Here's Leilani Harris. Eschewing the screen, she drives to the left, flings it outside to Takara Harrison. Harrison down the lane, pull up from 7 feet out, knocks it down. Takara Harrison starting to heat up. St. Francis' leading scorer this year. Harrison averages 15 points per game. She had been quiet, but she's now scored on 2 of the last 3 possessions as Caldwell misses the layup. Here come the Saints with a chance to recapture the lead. Thormeyer hands it to Leilani Harris. Kicked outside, Shepard. Shepard with a little head fake, drives and misses the runner. Rebound deflected towards the baseline, out of bounds. We're going the other way. Holy Cross ball with 6:18 to play in the half. Jordan Smith hands it to Labria Austin. Hot start for Austin, looking for her first points in a while though. She misses the 3. Grace Adams grabs the offensive rebound. Jordan Smith. 10 to shoot, a drive, and a foul called as Lily Toppin heads to the rim. Toppin will go to the line. That is number 2 on Abby Shepard. Kaylana Hamill checks in for Allie Caldwell. Lily Toppin misses the first free throw. So much for perfection. Thought we were going to get it today. Both teams had been perfect from the line prior to that. The two have combined to go 10 for 11 on their free throws. 29 to 27. Holy Cross has the lead. Lily Toppin has her first point. Takara Harrison drives, kicks. Abby Shepard for 3. Air ball, but an easy rebound for Amo Ring. And Ring's got 4 points. We're tied at 29. I don't think Shepard's going to get credit for an assist there, but turned into a perfect pass. Drive from Austin, and Austin's able to finish at the rim. Hard drive from Austin. She's got 11 already. She now leads all scorers with those 11 points. Takara Harrison works her way to the right. Adams comes in to help defensively. Kicked out to Leilani Harris. Harris for Ring. Ring in the post. Kicks it into the corner. Thormeyer tries the three and hits. St. Francis is in front. Jordan Smith crosses over. Smith drives. Smith loses the ball on the way up. I don't know if Shepard blocked that one or if Smith just lost control. Here comes Harrison. Harrison's bumped at the rim. A foul is called on Grace Adams. First foul on Adams sends Takara Harrison to the free throw stripe. And a timeout called by Holy Cross. 4:21 to play. First half. St. Francis has a 1-point lead. Holy Cross has led most of this first half, but it has been tight. At one point, Holy Cross did go on they had a 7-point lead, I should say, and then St. Francis went on a big run. In fact, since that 7-point lead, Saints have outscored Holy Cross 11-3. John McGinty called the timeout. It seemed to be a well-timed timeout because they've been in control ever since. Saints have not led by more than 2. They were up 2-0. It's the only time they've had more than a 1-point advantage. But we've had 4 ties, 4 lead changes so far in this game. Free throws coming up for the Fighting Saints coming out of this timeout. First shot from Harrison is good. Takara Harrison, 5 points now. 84% free throw shooter on the year. She goes 2 for 2. 6 points, 3-point lead for St. Francis. Now their biggest of the afternoon. Jordan Smith walks it across the timeline, picked up by Simone Harrell. Pass to the left is Grace Adams. Handoff, Audrey Talent. Talent sets up the offense with 15 to shoot. Bounced into the corner for Austin. Down low, Adams, double teamed. Adams looking for help, finds it outside. Toppin fakes the three, hands it off. 4 on the shot clock. Jordan Smith drives, kicks, three-pointer at the buzzer is short from Audrey Talent. And the rebound goes to Bailey Johnson. Great defensive possession by the Fighting Saints. And now they can extend their lead on a 13-3 run. Leilani Harris gets the screen. Her pass deflected and pulled in by Austin, who does a nice job holding her feet to avoid the travel after completing the steal. Jordan Smith spins into the paint and misses off the backboard. Thormeyer lobs for Harris. Thormeyer to a cutting Harris this time. No good. A little bit too hard off the glass. And no foul called. So a brief lull in this game scoring-wise. There haven't been too many of them in this action-packed first half. Adams working against Johnson. Tough shot, but she gets it to go. First points in a while for Grace Adams. She had 6 quick ones. Now she's got 8. The lead for St. Francis is 1. Thormeyer drives and kicks. It's Harris. Leilani Harris pivots, turns, shoots, and scores. "12 points for Harris. Those are her first points of the second quarter. Jordan Smith sends it over to Audrey Talent. Corner three is no good from Labria Austin. She's cooled off after a hot start. St. Francis has the ball with a 3-point lead. Under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Thormeyer's pass deflected out of bounds as Austin jumped into the passing lane. And for the first time in a while, we've got a stoppage to allow some substitutes to come in. Abby Shepard, Takara Harrison back in for St. Francis. Allie Caldwell returns to the floor for Holy Cross, along with Kaylana Hamill. Carly Spradling is in as well. First time we've seen her today. 6 seconds on the shot clock for Corinne Fromm. This is Takara Harrison. Harrison stepped back from 3-point range. Short, but she grazed the rim. Saints try to keep possession alive, and a foul is called. This is going, I still didn't say, I think Simone Harrell's called for the foul. It is on Harrell. First on her. Holy Cross basketball. Jordan Smith passes over to Spradling. Here's Caldwell, pull up from the foul line, rims out. Rebound Fighting Saints. Takara Harrison on the move. Harrison drives and gets her wrist grabbed. Foul called against Holy Cross. It's only their third. So St. Francis will inbound from the baseline. Second foul on Kaylana Hamill. Lorelei Thormeyer is going to be the inbounder. Grace Adams is back in the game for Holy Cross. Into Abby Shepard, open three, got it. 6-point lead for the Fighting Saints. Jordan Smith drives right around Shepard and draws the foul. If that's on Shepard, it's number 3. So that is the third on Shepard. She's going to have to check out. Simone Harrell will come back in with 51.6 on the clock for the first half. Jordan Smith is at the free throw line. 67% on the year. Smith makes the first. Holy Cross led this one 28-21. That was their biggest lead. St. Francis has dominated ever since then. Smith goes 1 of 2 from the line. They've outscored Holy Cross 18-6. Just 2 field goals for Holy Cross during that period. Lorelei Thormeyer pulls up, kicks out. Harris for 3, short. Rebound goes to Caldwell. Allie Caldwell gets it down low to Grace Adams, and Adams banks it in. That'll be pretty easy all day for Holy Cross if she gets to go one-on-one with Corinne Fromm. Adams is in double figures. Holy Cross is within 3, and the shot clock is off for the Fighting Saints. Lorelei Thormeyer bleeds that clock down to 8. Kicks it out to Takara Harrison. Harrison in the post, Leilani Harris, 3 seconds. Harris drives, lays it up, and in at the buzzer. Nice finish to the first half for St. Francis. It was a nice first half for St. Francis. Really good basketball game, back and forth for a while. Fighting Saints kind of took control late in the half, but only to the extent that they're able to build a 5-point lead. So it's still anyone's game as we head into the second half. I'm going to take a 15-minute break, and then I'll be back to get you the first half stats and get you ready for half number 2. St. Francis 41, Holy Cross 36 at the break. As we get set to start the second half at St. Francis, Terry Bonadonna back with you for some recap of the first half. St. Francis leads Holy Cross 41-36. Leilani Harris is the game's leading scorer. She's got 14 points in just 13 minutes played. Also chipped in with 3 rebounds, 5 of 9 from the field for Harris in that first half. Saints also got contributions from Takara Harrison, 6 points, 4 rebounds. Simone Harrell likewise had 4 rebounds. Abby Shepard had 6 points off the bench, but she committed 3 fouls. For Holy Cross, 2 double-digit scorers. Labria Austin has 11. Grace Adams has 10. That makes this the 13th time in 14 games this year that Adams has had at least 10 points. She also leads Holy Cross with 4 rebounds and 2 blocks. Those 4 rebounds, though, are almost half of what Holy Cross has gotten in the first half. 11 rebounds for Holy Cross, 20 for St. Francis. The Saints have 6 offensive boards and lead the second chance game 8-1. Points in the paint dominated by the Fighting Saints, 18-10. Bench points 24-12 in favor of St. Francis. This game was tied 4 times in the first half. We saw 4 lead changes, really good first half of basketball. It was clean. Only 8 combined turnovers between the two teams. St. Francis turned it over 3 times in the first 3 minutes, and then only twice more over the next 17 minutes. So we'll see if they can keep that pace going. They ended the first half having outscored Holy Cross 20-8 over the final 5 minutes or so. Fighting Saints ball to start the second half. They begin the second half with their 5 starters out there, including Corinne Fromm rather than Leilani Harris. Holy Cross comes out with their starters on the floor as well, and that for them includes Brooke Lindesmith, who sat most of that second quarter after picking up her second foul. Knocked out of bounds right away. It'll stay with St. Francis, 7 off the shot clock. Harrell inbounds to Takara Harrison. Harrison drives, layup is good. Jordan Smith has played awfully tight defense throughout today's game. That was a rarity. Harrison was able to blow right by her. Turned to an easy layup. Foul called on Bailey Johnson, tried to jump the passing lane. You hate to see your center pick up a foul that far from the basket, but it is number 1 on Bailey Johnson. Johnson has had some foul trouble over her 2 years at St. Francis, occasionally struggling to stay in games, but again, that was just number 1. Adams kicks it out to Allie Caldwell. Caldwell has 7 points so far today. Nearly gave it away. Finds Hamill. Drive from Lindesmith, no good, but a foul called. And that one is on that's on Bailey Johnson, so that's number 2 on Johnson. Didn't pick one up in the first half and took her just 40 seconds into the second half to commit 2 fouls. 7-point lead for St. Francis. It's their biggest of the game, but Brooke Lindesmith's got a chance to knock it down to 5 or 6. That's 6 as she makes the first free throw. 4 points for Lindesmith. And now it's a 5-point game. Lorelei Thormeyer across the timeline. Here's Simone Harrell on the drive. Harrell layup, no. Rebound, Bailey Johnson, 1 dribble. Grace Adams reaches her hand in. We're gonna get a jump ball. Yes, we are. It's going the other way. So a rebound for Bailey Johnson on the offensive end, but they're not able to turn it into a second chance as Grace Adams forces the turnover. Adams bounces towards Caldwell. The ball is pinballed around and finally knocked out of bounds by the Fighting Saints. That was a risky pass with 3 defenders in the area. Somehow it did find Caldwell, but was poked away from her out the back line. Here's Caldwell working against Thormeyer, spinning down the baseline, pass deflected, still finds its intended target. Here's Jordan Smith. Over to Lindesmith. Lindesmith scores and 1. Foul called on Leilani Harris. That's her first. It's the team's third. And Brooke Lindesmith, who just knocked down 2 free throws, gets another 2 right here. Or it's another 1, I should say. This would make it a 2-point game. 43-41, St. Francis. Takara Harrison marches across half court. Harrison around Hamill, fires it down low. Bailey Johnson has an easy layup. Defense collapsed on Harrison. She found the open shooter. Nicely done by Takara Harrison, who picks up the assist. Bailey Johnson has 6 points. Grace Adams backs in on Johnson. Harrell comes in to help defensively. Now we got a jump ball. St. Francis possession. It's the first turnover of the second half committed by Holy Cross, 4th of the game. Harrison rolls to her right, passes left. It's Thormeyer, wide open 3, and it's good. Thormeyer's got 8 points. The lead is back up to 7, and a timeout is called by Holy Cross. Fighting Saints bench is fired up as they have captured a 48-41 advantage. 7:43 to play in the third quarter. They're moving it around right now. 54% from the field. That 3-pointer from Lorelei Thormeyer was the 5th made today by St. Francis. They're shooting 39% beyond the arc. Holy Cross is 4 for 10 shooting 3-pointers. They were 4 for their first 7, and at that point in the game, I made sure to point out it is not a good 3-point shooting team. St. Francis typically has a great 3-point shooting defense. So it felt like it was only a matter of time before that number for Holy Cross started to fall off a little bit. And sure enough, since then, they've missed 3 in a row. They have not yet attempted a 3-pointer in this second half. Not really their stock and trade to begin with. They like to feed Grace Adams inside, and today they've done a great job of getting to the rim and then drawing fouls. They're 11 of 13 from the free throw line. We'll see how aggressive they are on this possession coming out of the timeout. Jordan Smith works her way inside, flips it up and in. Little floater down the lane for Jordan Smith. Her first field goal today. The lead is down to 5. Takara Harrison has the ball poked away by Jordan Smith, and a foul is called. First foul on Smith, first on Holy Cross. Harrell inbounds it to Harrison in the backcourt. Takara Harrison crosses over, down the lane, kicks it outside. Leilani Harris, 3-pointer misses. Rebound grab by Lindesmith. Chance to cut it back to a 1-score deficit for Holy Cross. But instead they turn it over. Leilani Harris jumps in front of Jordan Smith's pass and takes it away. Harrell drives from the corner, blocked by Caldwell. And the loose ball is grabbed by Labria Austin. Austin flying from one end to the other, misses the layup. A rebound grab by Simone Harrell. Here come the Fighting Saints. Good transition defense from Holy Cross. Harrell has to slow it down. Thormeyer tried to speed it up again. The ball was nearly knocked away from Takara Harrison. This is Harrison. Harrison works her way inside. Nice move to her right, but couldn't finish after she got around Carly Spradling. Smith inside the 3-point line. Back out to Caldwell. Caldwell from the corner. Shovels it off to Spradling, and Spradling banks it home. First points for Carly Spradling, who makes it now just a 3-point St. Francis lead. Spradling has only played 2 minutes in today's game. It's only her 3rd made basket this year. Knocked away from Thormeyer, gets it back, throws it to Bailey Johnson. Johnson looks for the cutting Simone Harrell, but it's knocked loose by Caldwell and stolen by Holy Cross. Jordan Smith inside to Spradling, back out, Linda Smith for the tie. Rims out, rebound Johnson. Chance for Holy Cross there to tie the score for the first time in the second half, but St. Francis maintains their lead. Harrison down low, throws it off the front of the rim. Loose ball scooped up by Johnson, who can't finish, but she's headed to the foul line. Third foul on Brooke Lindesmith, who checks out. Lily Toppin is back in. Grace Adams back in after a short rest, and Audrey Talent also returns to the floor for Holy Cross. Johnson makes her first free throw. Second shot is no good. First missed free throw of the day for St. Francis. They had made their first 6. Grace Adams walks it to the top, passes back to Talent. Looking inside for Adams, and a foul is called as St. Francis nearly came away with the steal. But somebody grabbed the arm of Adams. It was Leilani Harris. Fourth foul on St. Francis, so the next one will send Holy Cross to the line. Toppin looking for Adams, poked away by Ring, but right back to Toppin. Adams backs into a double team, tries to get around it, and she fires over to Talent, who lays it in. Like a pretty clear wraparound foul on Grace Adams, not called, and Holy Cross pulls to within 2 points. Corinne Fromm inside, Ring. Easy layup. Nice find by Corinne Fromm. Amo Ring has 6 points. Talent drives, kicks corner 3 for Toppin. Short. Rebound Grace Adams. Out to Talent. Bounced inside Spradling. Spradling flips it up, no good. St. Francis on the move. It's Abby Shepard. Over to Takara Harrison, who steps into a 3 and misses it. Offensive rebound, Shepard, no good on the layup. Another board from Abby Shepard, and another chance for St. Francis. Fromm drives. Corinne Fromm is blocked from behind by Adams. Out of bounds. Last touched by Holy Cross. Nice inbounds pass to Cara. Harrison made the cut. The defense lost her, and Thormeyer found her for her 9th and 10th points of the game. Three-pointer Caldwell, good. Caldwell is into double digits now with that three-pointer. 13th time this year that she's hit double-digit scoring, 10 points. Corinne Fromm kicks it outside. Thormeyer all alone for 3, and it's good. We're trading three-pointers now as St. Francis extends their lead, 56-50. Lorelei Thormeyer is into double digits. She's got 11 points. Caldwell is blocked by Thormeyer. Shepard takes it the other way, out to Thormeyer, trying to make it 2 in a row, but she's short. Offensive rebound to Cara Harrison, has the layup. 58-50, biggest lead of the afternoon for either team. Saints wrested the lead away from Holy Cross late in the first half. They have not given it up as Caldwell throws it out of bounds. We saw 4 lead changes in the first half, but Holy Cross led most of the way. And then the last couple of minutes of the first half, St. Francis took over, and they have remained in control throughout this third period. Thormeyer and Fromm work their way down the floor. Bailey Johnson is pushed from behind by Grace Adams. Adams is called for a second foul. Corinne Fromm is the inbounder. Thormeyer with 16 to shoot. Bounces to Johnson, back to the cutting Thormeyer. Layup is good. A little give and go from Thormeyer to Johnson. And back again, it's a 10-point lead for the Fighting Saints. Crossover from Hamill, and Hamill lays it in. It's a big play from Kaylana Hamill. Holy Cross needed somebody to make one, and she did. Her first points today. Cuts the St. Francis lead down to 8. Ball knocked away by Hamill. Harris chases it down in the backcourt. Leilani Harris scored 10 points in her first 5 minutes on the floor. Just 4 since then. She's fouled here by Hamill. Just number 4 on Holy Cross this quarter, so the next one will send the Fighting Saints to the line. Simone Harrell back in the game to inbound. Takara Harrison walks it towards the near sideline, lobs over for Leilani Harris. High post, back to Harrison, 6 seconds to shoot. Harris one-on-one with Caldwell, turnaround jumper, bounces around the rim and falls out. Under a minute to play in the third. Jordan Smith crossover. Smith bounces low for Adams. Adams is fouled.
St. Francis foul number 20, Leilani Harris, her third. Team's fifth in the third quarter.
Third foul on Leilani Harris, so John McGinty gets her out of the game. First free throw for Adams is good. Her first point of the second half. And there's her second. So St. Francis took the 10-point lead. Holy Cross has answered with 4 in a row. Keeping themselves in the game. Just over 10 minutes to play in this one. Closing in on the fourth quarter. Here's Takara Harrison. Harrison fighting for position inside, misses the shot. Adams comes away with it. Here comes Grace Adams. Adams is fouled from behind, and she finishes at the rim. And just like that, a 6-0 run for Holy Cross with a chance to make it 7 straight points. Second foul on Thormeyer. Adams has 5 points during this 7-0 Holy Cross run. And I will see if St. Francis can get the final shot off of the third quarter. Saints hit a buzzer beater at the end of the first half. It made it a 5-point lead from a 3-point lead. It's right back to 3. See if they can make it a 5-point game again. Corinne Fromm with 3 seconds on the clock. Drives left side, flips it off the glass, no good. So they cannot repeat themselves, and Holy Cross comes alive late in the third quarter. They were down by 10. It looked like the Fighting Saints were getting set to run away. And instead, Holy Cross has made it a one-possession game with 10 minutes to play. We've had a good game all throughout this afternoon, and it doesn't look like that's going to change over the final 10 minutes. So stick around. I'll be back in just a moment. fourth quarter getting set to commence. 60-57. St. Francis holds the lead. That third quarter was the first one of the game in which the Fighting Saints shot under 50% from the field. They were 8 of 20 shooting in that period. They're at 47% now for the game. Three players in double figures for the Fighting Saints. Leilani Harris has 14 points. Lorelei Thormeyer has 13. Takara Harrison has 12. Three players in double figures for Holy Cross. Grace Adams, 15 points. Labria Austin has 11. Allie Caldwell has 10. It's the usual suspects for Holy Cross today, getting the job done. Grace Adams in possession of the basketball as we start this fourth quarter. Holy Cross has trailed the entire second half. This is as close as it's been since halftime. Labria Austin makes it a 1-point game. Austin has her first points of the second half, 13 now for the game. St. Francis ball ahead by only a point. It's a 9-0 run for Holy Cross. Bailey Johnson at the top of the key, passes to her left. Takara Harrison drives into a double team, draws the foul and scores. Slow start today for Harrison, but she has come to life now. 14 points on 6 of 13 shooting. She's also grabbed 5 rebounds. She's got 3 assists. And she's the best free throw shooter on the team. She's got 1 attempt right here. 3-point play from Takara Harrison ends a 9-0 Holy Cross run. Gives the Saints a little bit of breathing room for the moment. It's a 2-score game. Adams hands it to Smith. Jordan Smith sloppy dribbling into the backcourt, and it is a turnover. That was not knocked away by St. Francis. Jordan Smith just lost control of it. A weird play. And so she's called for the backcourt violation. A costly turnover from Holy Cross, their 9th of the game. St. Francis has turned it over just 4 times in the last 28 minutes of game time. After committing 3 of them in the first 3 minutes. Leilani Harris for 3. 7-point lead for the Fighting Saints. Harris has 17. What a turnaround. It was a 1-point game. The Saints make 1 big shot. Saints commit an unforced turnover. Knocked loose from Grace Adams. Harrison dives on the floor to try to keep it alive, but Grace Adams comes out of the pack with the ball. Adams, turnaround on Bailey Johnson, scores. Grace Adams now 6 of 8 from the field. She's got 17 points. Jordan Smith knocks it away from Lorelei Thormeyer. She's got 1 second to get across half court, and she doesn't need to do it quite yet. Timeout called by John McGinty. The clock currently says 20 on the shot clock, which means it should have been a 10-second call, but the whistle blew clearly a second ago before that 10-second call would have been made. So the official is not 100% on board with the clock operator right now. They're going to reset the clock, I think, add an extra 2 seconds to it. John McGinty raced in from the sideline. It was pretty clear that they were not going to get it across half court in time. They've added 2 to the shot clock, but they have not added 2 seconds to the game clock. I don't know how that works. I guess it doesn't matter that much. Unless it comes down to the final possession and 2 seconds run off the clock. I don't know. St. Francis doesn't want to worry about that. They have a 2-possession lead right now. Bailey Johnson throws it in deep to Leilani Harris. Linda Smith knocks it loose and is called for the foul. No, Leilani Harris is called for the foul. That's her 4th. So another turnover for St. Francis. That's their 4th in the last 29 minutes of game time. Or their 5th, I guess. 8th turnover of the game. Grace Adams throws out of the double team, finds Brooke Lindesmith. Lindesmith finishes at the rim. 3-point game, under 8 minutes to go. Kudos to Holy Cross. They still had that run in them after it looked like St. Francis had taken over control of the game. Ball knocked away, and Labria Austin has a steal, and she's fouled by Takara Harrison. Number 2 on Harrison. Holy Cross has the ball back, trailing by just 1 possession. Holy Cross has scored 13 of the last 19 points in this game after they trailed by 10. Jordan Smith is bumped on her way to the rim. She'll head to the line. Free throw shooting has been key for Holy Cross in this game. They are 14 of 16 from the line. Smith does have one of the 2 misses, but she makes this one. And this one as well, 66-65, 7.5 minutes to play. Thormeyer over to Harrison. Harrison drives, pulls up, good defense by Austin, kicked outside. Lorelei Thormeyer sets her feet for 3, misses it short. Rebound chased down by Simone Harrell, another chance for St. Francis. Abby Shepard puts it on the floor, drives on Caldwell, works her way down low and throws it away. Intercepted by Jordan Smith. Holy Cross can take the lead. Smith drives, Smith flips it up, off the back iron, no good, and a loose ball, jump ball. Going the other way. St. Francis will take possession, ahead by 1. Saints have not trailed since it was 31-29. They very nearly did right there, but they do maintain the lead on the miss from Jordan Smith, and then the possession arrow favoring them on the battle for the rebound. Takara Harrison drives to the left, blocked by Grace Adams. Her 4th block of the game, but it's stolen by Amo Ring. Timeout called by John McGinty. Ring was up against the half-court line. She was looking to pass the ball, but everybody else had gotten back on defense prior to that steal. There was nobody to give the ball to in the front court. John McGinty decides better off just calling timeout and starting this possession fresh on the other end of it. St. Francis 66, Holy Cross 65. 6:32 to play in the game. Saints are trying to improve to 12-2 on the season. They're looking for their 3rd consecutive win. They opened the season by winning their first 4 conference games. And they took their first defeat in conference play on December 14th at Indiana South Bend, a tough 68-66 loss. Bounced back after that with a couple of non-conference victories, but back in CCAC play today, they are being given all they can handle by a good Holy Cross team that needs this win just based on their conference record right now. There's a big difference between 2-4 and 3-3. Holy Cross did great work in non-conference play. They went 6-2. But against a tough non-conference schedule, they've lost some tight ones. Indiana Northwest, Indiana South Bend, and facing another of the CCAC's best today, and again, giving them all they can handle as the inbounds pass is knocked right back out. Takara Harrison's going to move down the line a little bit and toss it in again. Into Lorelei Thormeyer. Thormeyer gives it to Leilani Harris. Harris playing with 4 fouls. Harrison to Thormeyer. Thormeyer drives to the left. Pulls back outside. Leilani Harris, three-pointer short. Rebound goes to Lindesmith. So for the second time in a row, Holy Cross has a chance to take the lead. Grace Adams working in the post. Double teamed. Adams fights her way around and misses the shot, a little bit weak on the attempt. Tough attempt from Grace Adams against two defenders. Leilani Harris into the paint. Turn around. I think that was blocked by Lindesmith. It finds its way to Simone Harrell, and Harrell banks it in for her first 2 points of the game. Harrell had been 0 of 5 from the field, but off the offensive rebound, she has two big ones for the Fighting Saints. 68-65, Lorelei Thormeyer jumps in front of the pass. All alone in the front court, Thormeyer lays it in. 15 for the junior guard Thormeyer. The lead is back up to 5. It was 1 just seconds ago. Grace Adams nearly lost the ball, nearly lost her footing. Kicked out to the open shooter. Three-pointer no good from Jordan Smith, and Harris grabs the rebound. Again, St. Francis threatening to pull away. Lorelei Thormeyer steps inside and draws the foul. It's on Grace Adams, and that's her third. Thormeyer to the line. 65% foul shooter this year. Thormeyer gets 2 attempts and makes the first. Holy Cross cut the deficit to 1. They had 3 possessions with an opportunity to take the lead. They missed shots on 2 of them, turned the ball over on the other. Now it's back to a 6-point game, though Thormeyer does miss the second free throw. Step back 3, no good for Austin. Rebound tipped by Bailey Johnson out to Abby Shepard. Thormeyer backs it up, slows the game down a bit. Here's Shepard. Shepard gives it to Takara Harrison. Harrison backs in on Smith. Harrison from the baseline gets fouled. Second foul on Jordan Smith. Takara Harrison will get 2 free throws. As Corinne Fromm checks in for Leilani Harris. The free throws allow John McGinty to pull his star player out and not force her to play defense on this next possession with 4 fouls. Harrison makes the first free throw. Second shot misses. The rebound is grabbed by Smith. Smith fires down the floor for Toppin. Here's Lindesmith. Jordan Smith into the corner for Labria Austin. Austin gets around Harrison, misses the jumper. One and done for Holy Cross as Bailey Johnson grabs the rebound. Lorelei Thormeyer loses it out of bounds. It'll stay with St. Francis. Thormeyer will inbound from the baseline. 20 on the shot clock. Lobbed in for Harrison. Takara Harrison fakes, drives inside, misses the layup. Leilani Harris with the follow, misses as well. Would have been a big one. Instead, Holy Cross has the ball back, down by just 7. Three-pointer from the corner is no good from Hamill, and Harris grabs the rebound. Wide open miss from Kaylana Hamill and a break for the Fighting Saints. Both teams missed open shots on their last 2 possessions. And again, Lorelei Thormeyer runs some clock down. Now it's Harris with the drive and a layup. Leilani Harris has 19 points. The lead is 9. The lead is back to 7 as Smith finds Kaylana Hamill cutting to the hoop. Down to 3 minutes to play. Jordan Smith is called for her third foul. It's the fourth on Holy Cross. Bailey Johnson is in for Corinne Fromm. 3 minutes to play in the game. St. Francis still has not trailed since the first half. Simone Harrell checks in for Abby Shepard just prior to the inbounds play. Harrison, cross half court. Harrison has it knocked away. LaBria Austin has the steal. 2-on-1. Austin lays it up and in. LaBria Austin has 15 points, keeping Holy Cross alive. Thormeyer walks to her right. Looking down low for Harris. Has her. Harris in the corner. Backs in on Hamill. Gets between two defenders and lays it in. Grace Adams came over to help, and Harris split right between the two of them. Adams down low. Caldwell. Allie Caldwell lays it in. Allie Caldwell's been relatively quiet today. Hasn't seen a lot of action here in the second half, but a big bucket right there. She's got 12 points. She pulls Holy Cross to within 5. Holy Cross not going down without a fight. They're shooting 50% from the field in today's game. And they have given the Fighting Saints all they can handle, but St. Francis still leads 76-71. Holy Cross led the majority of the first half. We had 4 ties, 4 lead changes. But St. Francis, with a buzzer-beaten layup from Leilani Harris, extended their lead to 5 at halftime. And then they created a little more separation in the second half, building the lead to as many as 10 before Holy Cross made a run and got it down to 1. But they never got over the hump, never reclaimed the lead from the Fighting Saints, and the last time they were ahead was 31-29. St. Francis, after their lead had gone down to 1, built it back up as many as 9 again. It's at 5 right now. Fighting Saints are trying to beat the Holy Cross Saints for the first time in a couple of years. Holy Cross took both games last season, including an overtime contest right here in Joliet last year. The game in Indiana between these two schools was kind of a blowout. Holy Cross won them both. Grace Adams in that overtime win against the Fighting Saints last February had 29 points and 20 rebounds. Takara Harrison over to Lorelei Thormeyer. Saints are able to beat the full court press. Here's Takara Harrison. That clock running down. Bounced over to Leilani Harris. Harris has a game-high 21 points, looking for 23. She's fouled. Fourth foul on Grace Adams with just 95 seconds remaining. Probably won't be a huge impact. First shot for Harris is good. She's got 22, 6-point lead. Now it's a 7-point lead. Harris checks out. Abby Shepard comes in. Big possession for Holy Cross. Down by 3 scores with barely over a minute and a half remaining. They need to score pretty much every time they touch the ball from here on out. Caldwell, guarded by Harrell. Gets the screen from Smith. Bounces to Jordan Smith inside. Handoff, Linda Smith misses the jumper, and the rebound grabbed by Abby Shepard. Saints can put it away with some points here with the clock running down under a minute. Holy Cross not looking to foul just yet. They still do have one to give. Takara Harrison around a screen, loses the ball, gets it back. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Thormeyer walks it to the free throw line, into the corner. Harrell for three, in and out. Rebound, Bailey Johnson, and she can't finish. Here comes Holy Cross. They have to score here. Adams drives on Shepard. Adams fights her way inside, misses at the rim. Rebound tipped out to Harrell, and Harrell's fouled by Smith. 31.4 on the clock. So now Holy Cross will have to foul as St. Francis calls a timeout. So it looks like no foul was called, just a timeout. So that means that Holy Cross still has one to give. So they'll have to use that, you would think, right away if they don't get a steal on the inbounds play. And then their only chance in this game now is just extend it as long as possible and hope that the Fighting Saints can't make their free throws. They are 11 of 14 as a team from the line today. Following the timeout, Saints will inbound from the front court. Lorelei Thormeyer gets it to Leilani Harris. Harris is not fouled. Now she is by Linda Smith. Well, it didn't look like they were trying to foul her. That is just the fourth team foul. Well, they're sending Harris to the line, so now I'm thinking they did call a foul just before that timeout, as I thought they did. They just didn't add it to the scoreboard. So that's number 5, sends Harris to the line for 2 shots. She makes the first. It'll be a 3-score game one way or the other. Harris makes both free throws, gets St. Francis up to 80 points today. It's the 3rd time in a row they've hit the 80-point mark. 7th time overall they've done it this year. Jordan Smith backs in on Harrell. Up with the left hand, short. Rebound grab by Harrell, and we'll see if Holy Cross lets this one play out or if they look to foul again. They do foul. Smith will send Lorelei Thormeyer to the line. Scores are often misleading when you include all the free throws at the end of a game, but if Thormeyer does make both of these shots, it'll be the largest lead of the day for St. Francis. They've matched it right now, 81-71. Prior to this, fewer than 30 seconds of the game was played with a double-digit lead for either team. So if the Fighting Saints do end up winning this by 11 points, again, it's not totally indicative of the way the game was played today, but still a nice job by St. Francis, taking care of business late, knocking down the free throws to salt this one away. They were in pretty good shape even before the free throws, but in the last 20 seconds, they've been able to turn a 7-point lead into an 11-point lead with Harris and Thormeyer going 4 of 4 from the line. Leilani Harris now has 25 points to lead all scorers. Lorelei Thormeyer is up to 17 points for the game. Thormeyer came into today averaging about 9 per contest. She's played really well today, particularly in the second half. 12 of her 17 points have come since halftime. New season high scoring-wise for Thormeyer. Quick three-pointer for Labria Austin is good. A deep 3 from Austin. She's got 18 to lead Holy Cross. 82-74 as the Fighting Saints get it into Harrison. Thormeyer across half court. Smith comes in, knocks the ball loose, and it'll be one last steal for Holy Cross, but they don't have time to make anything of the possession. We've hit the final buzzer, 82-74. St. Francis defeats Holy Cross. They improve to 5-1 to open CCAC play. 12-2 now overall this year. A great start to the season for St. Francis. Holy Cross, despite another hard fight, ends up falling in this game and dropping to 2-4 in conference play. They are 8-6 overall. They've had a really tough schedule to open conference play. I imagine that they're going to have a little bit more success as we move on in CCAC season, because this is a good basketball team, and St. Francis will see them one more time on February 5th. That'll be a road contest at Holy Cross. They'll try to improve to 2-0 against Holy Cross this year, but plenty more basketball action between now and then. It's not going to be an easy game for them, but some more tough ones coming up in conference play going forward. Coming up this week, they'll take on Governors State on the road on Wednesday, and then back home a week from today to play Viterbo University. First time those two schools will meet each other as conference foes. Our final score, once again, 82-74. A quick look at some of the stats for today's game. 3 double-digit scores for St. Francis. Leilani Harris had 25 points. Lorelei Thormeyer, 18. Takara Harrison finished with 16 points. Simone Harrell led the way with 9 rebounds. Saints got 3 assists apiece from Corinne Fromm and Takara Harrison. Holy Cross was led by Labria Austin, who had 18 points on 7 of 14 shooting. She also had 3 steals. Grace Adams had a double-double with 17 points, 12 rebounds. She blocked 4 shots as well. St. Francis shot 46% from the field. Holy Cross 48%. The Fighting Saints out-rebounded the Saints today 42-25. Once again, the final score 82-74. That's going to do it for today's broadcast. The next one we'll have of St. Francis women's basketball next week, same time, 1 o'clock against Viterbo. They'll take on Governors State on Wednesday. We've got a men's basketball game coming up in just a half hour, so come on back for that if you want to stay tuned to St. Francis Hoops. The men's teams go head-to-head next, St. Francis and Holy Cross. That's going to do it for this broadcast, though. Thanks for tuning in. St. Francis knocks off Holy Cross. 82-74 is the final score. Until next time, Terry Bonadonna signing off from Joliet. We'll talk soon.